Everywhere you turn these days in pop culture, there's an award show for something. You have award shows for movie stars and producers, TV shows, Broadway hits, shows for musicians and music videos, shows to celebrate sports personalities and their best plays. I recently discovered there are even shows to honor YouTube celebrities and musicians. Okay, let's be honest. Many of these people should be honored. They're the best in their fields and they've accomplished some pretty remarkable things in the past year. But it could be this award show culture can give the wrong message to our kids, that honor is only showed for what you do and not for who you are. Chances are if you have kids in sports or competitions of any kind, you have a growing collection of these things. Ribbons and medals, sashes, badges, certificates, trophies, plaques. Some hang on our walls or sit propped up on shelves somewhere. Others get stuffed into a drawer and eventually thrown out. They were so important when they first came into our homes, but at some point they just lost their value. Trophies can only mean so much because honor has a deeper meaning. Honor is letting someone know you see how valuable they really are. Now, did you catch that? People should not just be honored because of what they do. They should primarily be honored because of who they are. Your stuff will lose value over time, but not people. At its core, honor is seeing people the way God sees people. We're naturally wired to put ourselves first, but honor is just the opposite of self-centeredness. It is something that flows from your relationship with God. People start showing honor when they understand those around them were created by God. In a sense, one of the best ways we can honor God is by honoring those who reflect the image of God. Maybe that's why Romans 12:10 says, "Love one another deeply, honor others more than yourselves." We think as leaders and parents it's important to memorize that verse and to have our kids memorize it as well, because when someone understands the principle of honor, it changes the way they treat everyone. They tend to see people that are typically overlooked by society with a different kind of value. They tend to see those who are in authority with a different kind of respect, and they tend to see their peers with a different kind of appreciation. One place you can go as a leader or parent to help kids understand the concept of honor is the life of David. There are some powerful lessons about honor that show up all throughout David's story. The story starts when God sent Samuel to Jesse's house to find a new king for Israel. God passed over all of Jesse's older, stronger, handsomer sons and chose David, the youngest and smallest of the brothers. In this case, David was the most unlikely person to be honored. But God gave David a chance because he saw that David's heart was aligned with his. And that was more important than the outward appearance. We hope kids will learn that they can honor others by giving them a chance. In week 2, we'll discover that after David was anointed king, something incredible happened. Maybe you've heard of Jonathan, and maybe you haven't. See, he was the guy who was next in line for the throne. He could have been jealous or threatened by David's military victories and his growing popularity. He could have fought for what was rightfully his, but he didn't. There's a famous scene where Jonathan, in an ultimate act of honor and loyalty, gave David his robe, his sword, and his bow. And David, in return, makes a unique promise to always look out for Jonathan and his family, even though they could be a threat to his kingdom. Why? Well, because David knew something we pray our kids learn as well. Honoring others means putting them first. Then, many years later, King David kept his word to Jonathan. The only person left in Jonathan's family was a man named Mephibosheth. David didn't owe Mephibosheth anything, but he made a promise, and he honored Jonathan and Mephibosheth by not only making good on that promise, but also going above and beyond to welcome Mephibosheth into his own family. Through this story, we can all learn to honor others by keeping our promise. In our final week, we'll see that one of the greatest reasons David is an example of honor is because of the way he honored God. In fact, he had the privilege of bringing the Ark of the Covenant back into Jerusalem. And he was so overwhelmed with gratitude and excitement that he danced and celebrated. David was willing to make himself look foolish in order to give God the credit he deserved. It's obvious when you read the Psalms, one of the things that marks David's life is that he was consumed with honoring God. The secret to showing honor to others is to understand that it begins with honoring God and giving Him the credit for everything we have. If you want to invite your kids into a better story, invite them into a story where they learn to show honor to those around them. Honor notices those who aren't being noticed. Honor puts others ahead of yourself. Honor shows value to others when you keep your word. Honor is ultimately based on how you view and respect God. What if we began to teach children to look at the people around them as if they really believe those people have been made in the image of God, as if each person was wearing an invisible sign that said, "Show me I'm worth something." As Christian leaders, we have this great opportunity to raise a generation of Christians who look at the world around them and attach value to other people, not because of what they do, but simply because they are created by God.